Now, when I was a boy, Leeds were a team. Leeds were one of the best teams. Leeds spent all the money. They got all the good players. They loved a wonder kid. And it's just not really been that way for a long period of time, hasn't it? When Bielsa brought them back into the league, I think everyone in my kind of generation was like, oh, brilliant. It's good to see Leeds are back. Let's see what they're made of. They've absolutely ran away with the championship this year. And coming into the Premier League with some of the talent that they've got on their books, this could be the most serious of an attempt that Leeds have had at staying in the Premier League and regaining their former glory, really. And for me, seeing that Leeds have went on to sign Sebastian Bornauw from Wolfsburg, I start to think maybe this is the season that Leeds really kick in. Sebastian Bornauw was a player I watched quite a lot when he was at Wolfsburg, and personally, I thought he was better than Van de Ven whenever I watched Wolfsburg for the two of them. I think this is a huge coup for Leeds. I think this is a player that's going to make a big difference to their defence. And in the video today, we're going to look at Leeds' squad, the transfers that have kind of happened so far, the business they've still got to do, business that they've done already, and how do they kind of shape up coming into the Premier League. And yeah, we're just going to get stuck straight into this one. Any Leeds United fans that are tuning into the video, feel free to jump into the comment section. Tell me anything I'm getting wrong that I'm missing, or, you know, any intel, any insight, you know, from you guys, young players that are maybe making the step up that have not factored into the depth chart here, or depending on when the video comes out and when it's been recorded and all the rest of it, maybe there's been another transfer or two been announced, because Leeds have been at it in this transfer window. As you look at the squad here, there is a big gaping hole in the middle of the pitch, and we'll talk about that in a second. But when I seen that Sebastian Bornauw was coming in, this was the main thing that made me want to, you know, get beneath the surface, see where Leeds are sitting at the moment, and have a look at their squad. I was also quickly reminded that they've signed Bijol from Udinese for 25 million euros or something like that. A very highly rated centre-back in Italy that is a physical presence, is a man mountain. And at that transfer fee, Leeds have also seen enough in him where they think they can make him a better football player and they can stand up to the rigours of the Premier League. But when you actually look at the Leeds team, the centre-back situation wasn't really the one that they needed to address and to amend. Now, I've provisionally put Bornauw in here at right-back because he can play. I've seen him do it. He can play right-back. He's not a right-back, you know, but he's like a right-back. And no Junior Firpo, no Sam Byram on the books. If they do have another left back that's like that wants to bomb up and down the channel, Bornauw can do that right back job very, very well. Similar to what you see for like Ezri Konsa. And he's not got the pace of Van de Ven, and I think that's the difference between the two of them, is Van de Ven has that next gear, that sixth gear. He can really like track the whole pitch back, you know, as we've seen him do for Tottenham before, pulling all of his hamstrings all the time. But Sebastian Bornauw for me is a very good defender, you know, and I think Van de Ven's went up levels since moving to Tottenham, playing in the Premier League like he's done, of course. So it's hard to say that Bornauw today is a better player than him at the moment. But certainly when they were both at Wolfsburg, I thought Bornauw was the player for any interested scout to be taking note of and making a move for. I do think his best position is at centre-back, but the performance in the display, or the output that Leeds got from Ampadu and Rodon at centre-back, it's hard to imagine that they deliberately break that up coming into this season, despite spending the thick end of 40-50 million on Bornauw and Bijol here. I think Bijol is firmly going to be like the backup centre-back that can rotate in, that can come off the bench if somebody's on a booking. Maybe they want to go at 5 at the back. He can be that kind of guy. No two ways about it. But Jayden Bogle was a very successful player last year, so this is definitely something for Leeds fans to offer some insight on here. It's hard to imagine him being dropped or rotated out of the squad. But Bornauw is a first 11 player. I don't think there's any doubt about that in my mind. He will play 85-90% of the matches. And yeah, when you see Bogle in behind him, we've still got Wober on the books as well as Strike, if that's how you say it. And there's actually no left back on the books here. So although when we first take a step back and look at this, we're looking at the centre mid and thinking, what the hell are Leeds doing? They've not actually got a left back here. So despite them being championship winners, despite them being all conquering, free scoring, all out attack, and we'll talk about the attack in a second, Leeds have got some amount of work to do. I don't know why they've spent the money that they have on Bijol and Bornauw. Like, it just seems like, you know, it's giving me a little bit of deja vu to Newcastle when they first got their Saudi money, that they started buying like Lewis Hall and Livramento, and they weren't even getting in the team at that point. They were very young, up and coming players or whatever. So it might be one of those ones where the targets are the targets, and the sequence, the order of the transfers, Leeds don't care about that. They just want to get the guys in that they're after. Now, the big rumour circulating around at the moment is that they're trying to push Leeds to sign Douglas Luiz. Now, Gruev isn't a player I'm that familiar with, but Eo Tanaka is a player I am very familiar with, and he's If I've seen a Leeds highlight over the last 12 months, it's been for Ao Tanaka here. I'm a big fan of this guy. I'm sure you guys are big fans of him as well. I think he's going to do very well in the Premier League. And whether it be alongside Gruev or a star marquee signing like a Douglas Luiz from Juventus, I think that would be a move that would be very Leeds. You know, it would help Leeds get that former glory kind of aura back into the squad, into the club again. Signing a Brazil international from Juventus would be a huge move. But like you see, this guy, Abbey guy, there's no depth in here. There's no established Premier League quality. As much as I like Tanaka, as much as Gruev might be a good player, no one's been over the course, really, you know, in a successful way. And someone like Douglas Luiz, I think, would make a big difference and would add into the quality that's kind of getting built out from the back here with Leeds. Maybe there's a chat around the goalkeepers to be had for another day. I'm not too sure. But this is certainly the big gaping hole in the middle, as well as left back, that Leeds need to get on overtime with, go into overdrive and make sure that they grab. Because, in attack, like Harrison is coming back from a loan stint at Everton. I'm not too sure whether he's going to stay or be sold, but, with no man or Solomon, he's went back to Tottenham. This is probably the depth that they're going to have for left mid and right mid as things stand at the moment. I would expect further transfers. But when you see that they've also picked up Lucas Nemeka, who is a player I am a big fan of as well, like I mentioned. Watched a fair bit of Wolfsburg, mainly to see Lucas Nemeka. Big fan of this guy. Could be the German #1 striker for the national team if he can stay fit. Very formidable striker, came out of the Man City academy. Did very well at Anderlecht, did very well at Wolfsburg, but injuries have just persisted and really slowed this guy's career down. Hopefully a fresh start, a new setting and all the rest of it can be good for Nemeka. And I think coming off the bench for Perrault will probably be his initial role, alongside Matteo Joseph, who's a bit more of that wonder kid vibe, isn't he? I don't know anything about this Gelhardt, who was on the depth chart for the squad, and I was very surprised to see Bamford was still in the building. But when you look at these options for the wide areas, and even these options in the arrowhead in the centre forward position, I think Leeds have got maybe not enough goals to be happy or to be comfortable, but they've certainly got enough players here where this isn't urgent, they don't need to urgently go and get more strikers. Maybe there's another left winger, a Man or Solomon replacement you want to get, so you can start with Nonto on the right perhaps. Maybe Jack Harrison could play left, I don't know. There's definitely maybe one more player to come in here. But with Brendan Aronson carrying the sole responsibility for attacking midfield with the kind of increase in centre-backs, again, if we kind of walk back from this a little bit, does it maybe paint a picture of a change of formation, of a change of shape? I'm not too sure. I think if Aronson was ever to miss out or be played as a wide forward here, we could see a Matteo Joseph play alongside a Perrault. We could see a Nemeka playing alongside a Perrault. We could definitely see a kind of two up top situation kind of going on here. But with how thin on the ground that they are in midfield, I find it absolutely baffling that they've spent this amount of money in their defence already. But I genuinely think if they were to get that Douglas Luiz level player into the engine room, another wide forward, sort their left back problem out. This sounds like a bit of a list, I know, but with the amount of resources, capital, the Premier League draw as a whole, I don't think Leeds will have much of a problem in attracting and getting these players. It's about IDing the correct ones to fit the level, fit the personality of the squad, all that kind of thing. I do think a lot of these players will benefit from the relegation they had before. Guys like Wilfried Gnonto, Meslier, Ampadu, Aronson. Yeah, I think these players will all benefit from the experience they've had before, and I think they'll do better this year than what they were last time they were in the Premier League. But they are kind of just now at that point with the team where now in the transfer window they need to be signing players of Sebastian Bornauw, of Jacob Biol. They need to be bringing that level of quality in, but they need to actually move into midfield a little bit more here. And if they can do that, if they can really solidify the middle of the pitch here, I think Leeds could be in for a really exciting season. When I look at this squad and I'm kind of seeing the way it's kind of filling out, you hope they've got a defence and a goalkeeper that's strong enough to keep them in enough games. But with the power, the amount of finishers that they've got in the front line here, either to be guys from the start or from the bench, I don't think there'll be very many teams that get a clean sheet against Leeds if they get their ducks in a row. I need to caveat that with everything at this time in the transfer window. But as we've seen over the last 2 or 3 years, I'd say especially, guys like Chris Wood, Ivan Toney, I'd even add in Ivan Nielsen at Bournemouth. And you can even look at the opposite of this. Look at the struggles that Chelsea and Arsenal have had. Teams that have got proper centre forwards, they don't need to be world class or whatever, but guys that are proper centre forwards can play the role and have got that support built around them to find them in the danger zone, to find them in the box. are very effective in the Premier League right now. And between Joseph Perot and Nemeka, that's like a mid-table forward, or not forward line, but like centre forward depth for me. Like I could easily see Leeds getting into that kind of 13th spot in terms of the attacking output that they've got at their disposal here. But what is the big question mark, the glaring thing on screen here, as we can see, is the engine room and left back. So I'll be really interested and excited to follow on with this video and see where Leeds go in the transfer window. You know, what sort of left back do they bring in? Do they go and get a marquee signing like a Douglas Luiz? And let's see how the early stages of the Premier League season unfold for them. Because, like I mentioned in the tip-off of the video, Leeds are one of those clubs that have that kind of Premier League, you know, elite, you know, aura around them. Like, oh, Leeds are a big club, Leeds are a successful club, Leeds are a team that attract good players, Leeds have got a good home atmosphere, good home support, good, you know, stadium. They've got all that stuff going for them, but they've not really caught up to the modern era of football and really established themselves back in the Premier League as being that Leeds United that so many of us know. So yeah, excited and interested to watch out for all that. On screen are now some other videos that I've made that YouTube thinks you might enjoy. Don't forget to jump into the comment section, let me know what I got right, what I got wrong, anything I can add in for the next video, of course. Hit the subscribe button for more videos like this. If you did laugh, learn, like something or whatever, I don't know, please do hit the like button, it means a lot, supports the channel. Stay out of trouble, and I'll catch you on the next one.